Peter here from Facts Not Included. Thanks so much for checking out this episode. I want to thank you guys so much for doing that. Wherever you are listening, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, on just a web browser somewhere out there, wherever you are getting this podcast, I want to thank you so much for checking us out. Enjoy the show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Facts Not Included. I'm your host, Peter Cabranes, and today, well, it's another Tangent Friday for you all. I hope you guys sit back and enjoy the episode, whatever it is that you're going to be doing today while you're listening to this episode. I just hope you're listening. As always, we love it when you guys tell us what you thought of the episode and thought of what we discussed on the podcast. So today's episode is going to be about Washington, D.C. I was just there. So I thought, just like I did with my Kansas City episode, and St. Louis episode, why not discuss my little trip to the nation's capital? With that being said, first, I would like to discuss the lack of movie reviews. I know a lot of you are hoping, and you sit back and you're like, oh, this Monday, maybe there'll be another movie review. And I know I told some of you that there would be a Creed, possibly, and even a Wreck-It Ralph review. Those still might be coming, but the only thing is a lot of things have hit me personally in my life that has not allowed me to do episodes or even go see a movie. That's the thing. The last movie we saw was the last movie we reviewed. So I feel terrible about that, but there are things that have gotten in the way from me even being able to go out and see a movie. So apologies for that. Mike and Antonio have also been pretty busy, but I'm the one with the equipment. So if I'm not doing it, then it's going to be hard for them to even do something on the podcast. So just wanted to let y'all know that. Fingers crossed that we do get some reviews out even this weekend. Hopefully Mortal Engines or some sort of Spider-Man review should be coming your way. That's the only thing. I feel really bad about that because it's like we actually have a schedule of when I want to release episodes of reviews, but we actually not been able to go out and even see them. So apologies there. But yeah, so this episode, it's all about DC. So if you are not a fan of the nation's capital, I wouldn't know why you wouldn't be, but you could tune off now. But if you wish, continue to listen to this episode. It's going to be just me talking about my fun times there. So a couple of months back, probably about good 6 months back, the guys and I discussed that we would go to DC. And, at least I thought about it. And I was like, hey, I got something booked and scheduled and kind of, stuff like that. And not really concrete, but it was a thought. And we were going to do it. And then my girlfriend was like, well, let's you and I go. So I said, okay, let's let it be her and I. And the guys and I could do a road trip somewhere else at another time. Maybe Boston. Kind of want to go to Boston with the guys. Maybe go see a Celtics game at some point. But anyway, so the trip turned into a girlfriend and I, which is great because it actually was phenomenal. It was a lot of fun. I used to go to DC a lot growing up. Like, it was a thing my parents and I would do practically every year. So I know DC quite well. I know the metro system, not like the palm or the back of my hand, but I know it enough to get me around. I do know the streets, not totally by name, but I know the main streets like Connecticut Avenue and New York and all that stuff, and New Jersey and whatnot, like those main streets, but not so much like First Place. I don't know so much the number of streets as much, but I do know some of the towns and the areas and which ones to stay in and which ones to avoid at certain times of day, whether it's due to tourists or just it's not the safest area. But DC is a lot of fun. Now, for those that have never been to DC, a couple of things you should keep in mind. One, The metro is your friend. It's going to get you around probably the quickest out of any mode of transportation, other than, of course, an Uber or a taxi. The taxi service in DC is not something that most people like, but use at your own risk, I suppose. I don't know the red taxis. I forget what they call them exactly, but those red cabs. Use at your own risk, I suppose. Uber is phenomenal there. Like as in most places, Uber works pretty well. The only place I usually don't use Uber is in my own hometown in New York City. So I don't use it as much because I have the MTA to use. The only reason I used Uber in DC was because I got a little sick on one of the days we were there. So yeah. Um, yeah, so if you Metro's your friend, use the Metro line, which is the train service, the subway service, for those that didn't know. The buses, I never ever really use the bus ever while I'm in DC. It's not something that I'm against. It's just I've never needed to. Everywhere I've ever been, all I needed to do was take the train. Buses in DC, they seem pretty reliable too. They seem to be much more reliable than the MTA here in New York. But that you get what you get because it is a smaller system, so it's bound to be a little bit more efficient. With New York City, you have a train system that's upwards of was it 7 to 8 to 10 miles long, so you're dealing with a lot of track. At least here in DC, you're not dealing with that much track. Also, the bus service, same thing. Bus service in New York City is probably I have no record of this, but it could well be very well could be the largest bus system in the world, if not the country, because just by looking at the maps of the bus lines in New York City, when you include local and express bus service, it's pretty big. So I don't know if it's the largest in the country, but it very well might be. Okay, so our trip began on a Thursday. On a Thursday, we went out on a bus service. We were gonna drive down, but decided that it would be best to take a bus down there and come back on a bus, or maybe even a train, only because parking in DC, in just like New York City and probably other cities around the world and around the country, it's a nightmare. Parking is a pain and expensive too. It's very expensive to park in the streets, and moving, every other day or hour you have to move the car. Not dealing with that so much. And I wasn't gonna pay 50. I think our hotel was $47 plus tax, so it's probably about $50 for parking per day. And I wasn't gonna do that. So yeah, decided to do a bus. So we did. So we went down with a company called Best Bus. If you've never taken a trip down to DC and you're planning on doing it, and you're planning on taking a bus down there, I highly suggest booking through Best Bus. They're not a sponsor. They're no one that has yet to tell us to incorporate them in the podcast. It is just an honest plug here for them. They are phenomenal. So I had one hiccup with them, but it was a mistake by one of their call people. So I had booked the reservations like 4 months in advance or something like that for the bus, or 3 months in advance, and they had called me like 3 days before, texted me like 3 days before saying, "Hey, we need to change your reservation for your return trip," and I was like, okay. I was really nervous. I didn't know what to do, so I called him. I was like, "Hey, I just got a text from you guys stating I need to change my reservation for Sunday." And they were like, "Yeah, when do you want to reschedule? What date?" And I was like, "What date? I need to come back this specific date." And she was like, "Well, sorry, but we could put your ticket on hold." And I was like, okay." So then I call back. No, I go on the website and I'm like, I reserve a ticket. And then they call me. I reserve a ticket for that same day again. And they're like, no, I was looking at rescheduling for the day. There was a ton of buses that day. And I was like, this is weird. Who told me this? So then I called them back and they were like, yeah, why did you put your ticket on hold for like another date? And I was just like, because I was told to. And she was like, yeah, don't do that because there's plenty of buses for you. I was like, who did I speak to? So, my fault. Should have gotten a name. Should have gotten a name from that person. Didn't get a name from them. Oh well. But overall experience, the bus is phenomenal. They're great. I'm not even lying to you. They handled my reservations perfectly well, other than that weird hiccup. The reason that happened apparently was because they were rescheduling like two bus lines, and mine was not the one that was touched, and accidentally someone thought it was. But again, I take that and I throw it out the door. I don't find that as a problem. They're great. The bus service is phenomenal. I felt completely safe on the bus. I slept. It was great. They give you a free bottle of water. They give you free movies if you download their app and you log on the Wi-Fi. They give you free movies that have been out. Not even that long ago. Some movies from many movies from this year, a couple movies from the year before, and a couple movies from the year before that. So it's really fun experience. You usually get the people that probably are weekly travelers or monthly travelers to DC. Obviously, if you're a daily traveler to DC, what are you doing? Either move there or move to New York. I don't know what's your problem. So it seems like you got the people that like to travel or are aware of the areas. Use this bus line or service. It was great. $30 for per person per ride. So it cost us about $120 round trip for the both of us, and it was really cool. The buses are very comfortable, and yeah, so that's all I have to say about bus bus. Now, granted, I've never used another bus service to get to DC. I've used other buses to get around the country, but I've never used to get to DC. So bias, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, there's other companies out there. But besides that, it was cool. So we get down there to DC around 2 o'clock roughly on Thursday, about 2:30 or something like that. Smooth sailing going down there. We hit a little traffic, obviously, when you get into DC, but that is to be expected. DC is a hellhole when it comes to driving. So we get there, we're enjoying ourselves. What did we do? Oh, we checked in, and then we went to this Mexican restaurant that I always go to in DC, L'Oreal Plaza or something like that. It is fantastic. This place serves the best food in DC, hands down. Like I've gone to a lot of restaurants in DC, and this is probably my favorite place out of all of the capital. So it's in DuPont Circle. If you are familiar about that area of DC, it's really it's the gay district of DC. Just for those that were wondering, but they have more to offer than just gay bars and restaurants. I mean, this place is not a specific. This place isn't specifically gay or anything. It's actually not at all. It doesn't have, but you could tell the places that are like they had the flags out and stuff. But this place was Spanish. I say Mexican, but then I say Spanish because they have a lot of heavy. It's heavy leaning towards Mexican food, but then you have like Peruvian dishes, you have literally Spanish dishes from Spain, and so you have different flavors and cultures mixed in to make this restaurant a possibility, and it's fantastic because I've tried quite a bit of their food, and yet to have been disappointed while I've been there. So this has been my latest time there. I think I've been there about 4 or 5, 6 times. I don't remember. Great place. So we did that, and then I think we just chilled for the night. Like we went to the hotel, we chilled. Pretty cool place we stayed at. But then Saturday was our like let's do this. Saturday was our no Friday. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Friday was our let's do this day. Like we're gonna do everything today. So we did the zoo, the Smithsonian Zoo, which is an amazing zoo. Not as good as I would say as the St. Louis Zoo, but it ranks up there. The only reason I didn't say is that good is because most of the animals were sleeping or put away somewhere. I don't know. They were being tested or fed or something. I don't know. But we didn't get to see as many as the animals as we had hoped. But it was a fun experience. Being that I have gone to St. Louis, I feel like St. Louis is a tad better. And I can't say the Bronx Zoo is any better because I haven't yet to gone to the Bronx Zoo as an adult. The last time I was at the Bronx Zoo was when I was 5, so I have no idea. DC, Smithsonian, whatever it's called, the Smithsonian Zoological place. That place is great. I don't think it beats out St. Louis. I'm not too sure. But anyway, so great experience. Like regardless of age or what, you will love this zoo. Huge place though, massive. So if you want to walk, this is a place to walk. But like we even saw people jogging in here. It's also very spread out. So like not everything is right next to each other, which is my other gripe with the place. But hey, I'm not gonna complain. It was well worth the walking. We did that. We then walked to. We took an Uber to the Lincoln Memorial. Saw the Lincoln Memorial. Saw the World War One Memorial. World War Two Memorial, Korean Memorial, Washington Monument, and then we went to the American Museum. No, we didn't go to the American Museum, did we? I don't remember. What did we do? Oh, the Natural History Museum we did. That was cool. That was a lot of fun. It's not as good maybe as the New York one, but I will say, it's a bit more modern. Because if you've ever been to the American was the Natural History Museum of America, whatever it's called, the one on 70 something street in Manhattan, you will feel like, oh, some of the exhibits are a bit dated. You know, you feel like you're stepping into the 70s or the 80s in the exhibit. Not saying that the artifacts are a problem. You're there for the artifacts, not so much to see how the glass casing looks or the writing around it looks, but it does help your experience. It makes you feel like, oh, okay, they're putting effort into this. It does look a bit more modern here in DC. I guess because you have no choice, because you have so many people coming, and you're probably getting so many more donations. It is the Smithsonian, so I don't know. But it was a lot of fun. Parts of it were being renovated, especially the outside, so we didn't worry too much about that. So we did that, and then I think we went back to the hotel, chilled there for a bit, went shopping, I think. That's somewhere. I don't remember. I forget now, even though it was only a week ago. And then we wound up doing an Escape the Room in D.C. So if you guys know anything about Escape the Rooms, this one specifically is called The Escape Room or something like that. It's a big company. They have them all over the country, one here in New York City. They're great. And I've never done one before, and I was totally like, I don't know how I feel about these. They're really cool. They're, you go in, and they give you clues, and you got to escape the room, literally. And so it was a lot of fun. We did one called The Agency or something, and it was loads of fun. You pretended that you were in this heist thing. Not a heist, but you were like, I don't know, I forget. But I also can't give too much clues about it because the company has a very strict policy on discussing the room outside of you doing it, because it's going to make people's experiences not so fun after that. So I'll be quiet now. So that was our night. We had eaten at this place called Matchbox. For those that know anything about Matchbox in DC, it's a big chain of, well, not big. They got 4 restaurants. They pizza and burgers and stuff like that. Really fun, really cool. Not what the food was good. I'll tell you this. The food was good, but a bit pricey for my taste. A bit pricey for what you get. For like all the food that we got the night before. And all the food that we got here, which wasn't that much, we paid the same. And I was like, whoa. And I didn't even get any drinks. Like that was weird. I was like, I'm paying the same amount for like two food items. And the night before we had gotten like so much food and drinks. Same price. Really? You gotta be kidding me. But oh well. It was good though. It was good. I wasn't complaining, but it was just like the both of us looked at each other like going, damn, okay. So we did that. And then Saturday was another one of those big walking days. We did all that stuff. We went to the American Museum, the Smithsonian American Museum. We went to the Air and Space in the morning. That was fun. Torrential downpour in D.C. that day, so that wasn't a lot of fun. But we got to do the Air and Space, and I love the Air and Space Museum. I don't care who you are, what age you are, what nationality, background, boy, girl, whatever. You're going to like the Air and Space Museum, especially if you like air and space things. Okay, so me, personally, I continue to be blown away by space travel or air travel. If you know me at all, I get blown away by going, wow, how is that giant heap of metal in the sky? Like I can see countless videos of how it's done, and listen to countless lectures of how it's done, and it still blows me away. Like it should, and it should continue to blow people away. That the fact that we have a giant hunk of metal in the sky, just like a cargo ship. How the hell? And again, I could be told countless times, but not in my honest being, how is that floating on the ocean? So many tons of so many tons on top of the ocean. How is that possible? And I could be told again. I could be told countless times, but it still blows me away. So the idea of space travel is something that I as a child always was into, and I've always been. I always like that whole added. Sorry, the whole idea as a kid, like I'm gonna be an astronaut. I literally wanted to be one at one point, but I knew I couldn't do it. I was scared. I couldn't do it. So like that went out the window real early, and it wasn't the fact that I had to know math or science. That wasn't the hard part. The hard part was actually knowing that one day I would be in space, and nope, not doing that. Um, but yeah, the Air and Space Museum is phenomenal. It's got real and also recreated ships and modules and pods and whatnot in the museum itself. So much history, so many interactive moments and games and such for the young and the old. So it's really a fun place. If you do plan on going though in the next, I guess, couple of weeks or months, they are and you're looking to eat there, they are renovating the cafe. So if that's something that you are not entirely open to, then make sure you eat before or after you get there. The cafe's being renovated, and all they have is pre-made food. So if that's not something you're open to, then look into that. With that being said, so that was our Saturday. So then we wind up going to Shake Shack after. Again, not a plug, but you sons of bitches got me sick. I don't know what it was, but I got violently ill. And I've eaten Shake Shack countless times. Okay, not countless, but like enough times to know that I'm fine at this place, and my body could withhold the food. Right? It's not. It shouldn't be that complicated. And so I got like a chicken sandwich from them, and I've had it from them like two other times. Never had a problem. This time, death, literally death. Without going into detail, let's just say we had to go back to the hotel a couple times. So, yeah, not good. Wasn't feeling good that Saturday night. Wasn't fun at all. And then that Saturday night we had basketball game tickets. I got like really cheap tickets to see the Nets and the Wizards, and so we went. We wound up going. We didn't we didn't stay the whole game. Only stayed to halftime and wound up leaving. And yeah, I wasn't feeling good, man. Fuck, man. That was the problem about that is that we had walked so far also to get to that Shake Shack. And it was like not even worth it because I got violently ill. It wasn't cool. Yeah, the basketball game was fun though. I do like the Capital One Arena for what it is. It's obviously not a Madison Square Garden, and no by no means is it trying to be. But it's a fun place. It's a fun little place for the games. I would totally have loved to have seen a hockey game there, but I wasn't spending the money they wanted because remember the Caps just won the Stanley Cup, so they're gonna charge a little extra. Excuse me, burp there. That was nasty. They're gonna charge a little extra, so whatever. So I didn't go. I didn't go to that game. We went to basketball, but that was fun. It was fun, and I like the little halftime stuff. Not the halftime. The little when a team takes a timeout and the cheerleaders come out and there was little girls dancing, like literally a little squad of like I guess 8-year-olds or 10-year-olds, whatever. That was a cool thing to see. They're very talented. I think they're called the Whiz Kids. Shout out to the Whiz Kids if you're listening. Amazing. You're phenomenal. You guys are great. You guys are great. Keep up the good work. And maybe one day they'll be the actual cheerleaders of the Washington Wizards. If their Wizards even have cheerleaders. I didn't even notice that, to be honest. Anyway, so then Sunday was our annoying day because Sunday was our bus wasn't leaving until like late in the evening, and I had a duffel bag. I had a duffel bag, and my duffel bag was like 30 pounds. It felt like it probably was. I think it was about a good 20 pounds. My duffel bag, and lugging around 20 pounds on your shoulder. over your shoulder on your side for a good what, good 4, 5, 6 hours is a pain. It hurts. You got to constantly move it. Your back hurts, your shoulder hurts. It was not a smart idea on my end. Should have done a luggage with rollers, with wheels. Just wasn't thinking, and so yeah, ouch. But we wound up, chilling at Union Station and enjoying ourselves there, and so yeah, we had our fun. We had a fun time doing that. But yeah, so I mean, DC is a phenomenal. I gave you like a whole description of my trip, really. But DC is a phenomenal place to be in. I mean, we got to see what we wanted to see in the short time we were there. Remind you, we were only there really 3 days in a whole. So 2 full days and 2 half days. So that equals about 3 days. And we got to see what we wanted to see. There was much more that we would have loved to have done, like the African American Museum, the Capitol. She has never seen the Capitol. And all these other museums that are out there that are part of the Smithsonian and those that are not a part of the Smithsonian landscape. But we did get to see so much. It was a lot of fun. We walked around in the towns, not just in the touristy spots. We walked around in town that normally, she probably would have never gotten to do unless I showed her there, because, when you go to certain places, you stay in the touristy spots. It makes sense, I guess, right? But I don't do that. I don't do that at all. When I go to a town, I like chilling where the locals hang, man. Like, go to the local bars, go to local restaurants and whatnot. Enjoy yourself. See what life is like for someone that lives there. Because I wouldn't mind living in D.C. I know I can't afford it, but I wouldn't mind living in D.C. D.C. is a fun town. It's strict in the sense of, like, everything's government related, it seems like. Or private sector stuff, right? But, the public. But everything in DC is a lot of fun. People think it's just a town for the government, or just a town for the stuck-up people, but it's not. DC's a lot of fun. It really is, and I hope more people go there. Hope more people understand that it's a town that's not just where the government sits. It's a town where you can enjoy yourself. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little discussion about DC, about my little trip there. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you are wondering about about when more episodes are coming, as you know, every single Friday is a Tangent Friday, and every other Monday, or it seems like whenever we mention there's going to be a review, there will be a movie review on Mondays. So will there be one this Monday? Hopefully. But thank you so much. If your friends are not aware of this podcast, please let them know. Please. We do have some cool things coming for you guys. I know we tease it all the time, but it's still in the process. So we do have a website in development, and possibly even some merchandise on the way. But yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thank you so much for checking out Facts Not Included.